Welcome to the Sports MVT Insider, a platform where we are unrelenting in covering women in sport. And of course, we love to celebrate our ladies, whether it be small achievements and sometimes even those big achievements as well. But today we focus on the sport of netball. Now, at this point in time, there is a lot of excitement as the Proteas are building up to that series that we will be seeing in the Caribbean, where they will take on Jamaica as well as Trinidad and Tobago in October. And of course, next year we are building up to the Commonwealth Games that will be hosted in Birmingham. And then it's the big one, 2023. We are set to see the Netball World Cup hosted in Cape Town. So a lot of excitement brewing at this point in time in terms of the Proteas and some of the trophies that they could possibly lift as well. Now, joining me today is an absolutely phenomenal Proteas netball player. She's had 2 caps for the Proteas thus far, and of course we know that she will have a very long career with the Proteas, and given her young age, we are certain that good things are most certainly to happen in the future as well. Her name is Sikholiwe Mdletshe. Sikholiwe, how are you doing today?
Hi, Aaron. Well, thanks, yourself.
I'm doing very, very well. Thank you so much for joining us on the Sports MVT Insider. But I would like for us to start the conversation here. Sikholiwe Mdletshe, off the court, who is she? And I would love to know a little bit more about your nickname, 𝗀cie. How did that come about?
Well, firstly, thanks for having me. Yeah, Sikholiwe Mdletshe, really a kid from a small town, 𝗀cie𝗹𝗹𝗶, which is now Mkondo in Mpumalanga. And yeah, grew up there, went to school there, and then later on in life, in grade 10, I moved to Middelburg High School, just because of the sports opportunities that were presented to me there. And after moving there, I came to the University of the Free State. Outside of that, I mean, my family is mostly from KZN, so I am Mzulu. So I come from KZN, and my dad's side of the family is still there, and I go there quite a bit. And so Sikholiwe is like a mix between the cultural Zulu girl and, the more modernized Zulu girl. So that's basically who Sikholiwe is. And as for 𝗀cie, actually comes from my third name, which is 𝗀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗶, which was given to me by my grandmother. And because I grew up with my grandmother, she called me 𝗀cie most of the time. And yeah, that's why I grew up just being known as 𝗀cie to everyone around where I stayed in school. And then later on, when I moved in grade 10, I decided that I want to use Sikholiwe much more in my life, because I did get that name from my grandmother on my dad's side, who passed away while my mom was still pregnant with me. And she gave me that name, Sikholiwe, before I was born. And so for me, it's a blessed name, and it has a lot of meaning, and that's why I've been using it much more. But 𝗀cie, I'll always remain 𝗀cie to everyone. It's easy name to pronounce, better than Sikholiwe. But more academically, I'm known as Sikholiwe or SK. But more in the sports world, 𝗀cie is the name.
Nice, absolutely fantastic. Let's get into your passion for accounting. How did that come about?
I don't know. Because in grade 8, I hated accounting. Maybe it's because of the teacher that I had. I was not fond of it, and especially because in class we used to sit, like, if you just wrote a test and your marks were coming out, we used to sit in what we call the bus. So the lowest mark would be at the start of the door, and then it would go around from lowest to highest. And I hated accounting because of that seating arrangement. So always urged, like, I wanted to always be at the back of the class because I hated sitting in front. And so I think through that, not wanting to sit in front, I like started actually liking accounting more because I studied more for accounting than I did for any other subject. And when I got to grade 10, I chose accounting as one of my subjects. And I had a teacher in Middelburg High School who was absolutely great. And she explained that subject from top to bottom, and I loved it. And from there on, accounting was really something I wanted to go into. It was not my first option, to be honest. I wanted to go into logistics, supply chain management. And the University of the Free State didn't offer that at that time. And so I was like, you know what, accounting is really the way I think I'd want to go, which is why I chose then BCom accounting. and so that it could just open up doors for me and see if I don't want to like go into the accounting route, I could go into other things, auditing, tax, financial management, and yeah, that's when the love started, and now I'm just hooked onto it. But it's a love-hate relationship. When the marks come out, you never know, and but sometimes when the work is flowing, then it's all good.
I think the only thing that I take away from what you just said is that you and accounting, it's a love-hate relationship. Why would you say that?
Yes.
Is it simply because of the
I
marks?
mean, yeah, definitely. You put so much effort into, what you're studying and making sure that you really get the most out of it. You put time, you put effort, additional resources, making sure that, you really at the top of the game in terms of academics. And sometimes the marks come back and they tell you like you're not top of the game. And so with that, it just becomes really that love-hate relationship. So I really love it, but sometimes I feel like it hates me. But we're always able to rebound and make it happen again.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Now, of course, you talk about the challenges of studying accounting at varsity as well, but there's also a big balance or a big challenge that comes from being a student and also being able to study as well. What does it take to be a student athlete at a varsity level?
I won't lie to you, it takes a lot. When it comes to being in varsity academics at varsity is not like high school. It's a big jump. Especially when you start moving into honors or postgraduate, it's a big jump. You need to be able to balance it out. You need to be able to say that from 8 to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm working on solely academics, and then from 1 o'clock till maybe 2 I'm doing everything that's admin, emails and all of that. And if you're doing something else in the afternoon, something that's your off time, great. And then I know that training starts again in the evening, whether it's at 5 or whether it's at 6, then I know that's netball time. And it's just being able to kind of put those three things into like their own facets. You literally have a student life, a personal life, and a sport life. And well, I realized the the importance of having a personal life quite later in my life, but it's something really that you also need to have within. Otherwise, you'll go crazy. It's just academics and netball, and sometimes it really doesn't work out. So, yeah, I wouldn't say like the importance of balance is so much. It's huge because you really need to make sure that you stay on top of your game for your academics so that you can be able to play netball. At the end of the day, you have to realize that Varsity Cup, you need a certain amount of credits in order to play. So you won't play Varsity Cup if you've been failing your subjects. So there's another element. You won't play if you don't pass. And so there's also that element. And you essentially came to varsity to get a degree, to further yourself into something else. So netball then becomes a byproduct or something on the side. It's like a side hustle, having a job and having a side hustle. You give each the same amount of attention, and you just make sure that it works. And sometimes, like now in the season where netball is getting much more, so now I realize that netball now becomes the main hustle and academics a bit of the side hustle, because now we just academics, we've got maybe one round of tests left before exams come in. And then when exam comes, academics comes back into the spotlight. So it's just knowing when to put what as a and when to put what first, and how to prioritize as well.
Definitely. Now, you talk about the Varsity Cup, and of course, that's a big tournament in terms of South African netball. But I also know that you've been named the captain for the Free State University netball team, which is quite exciting for you as well. But I would love to know, in terms of you being a captain, what type of a captain are you? Are you more on the aggressive side? Are you more soft-hearted? Are you a mixture of the two? What type of a captain are you?
I'd like to think I'm a mixture of the two when it comes to being aggressive and soft. I don't like to really talk much as a captain. I always say I'll let my work on court, do the talking. When someone in my team looks at me and what I'm doing on court or what I'm doing in the gym, they forced. They're like, "Yo, okay, Snare's putting in the work. I need to put in the work too." And on court, if I say, you know what, we're going to really fight for this one, and someone sees me fighting, they'll also be inspired to actually fight. So I'm more of, I like my body and the way I play to kind of do the talking. And then when I do need to say a few things, I think I've been lucky enough to have a few leadership roles throughout high school, moving into varsity, that I'm able to talk now. And what's nice about varsity is that we're not there to baby each other in the team. You can tell everyone straight up, guys, it's not working out. We need to find another plan to go around this. And we're struggling in the circles. We need to work around that, and we can work through that. So I'd say when it comes to my leadership style, I let the work do the talking, and then when I need to talk, I'll definitely stand up and make sure that the team is in line and in order, and ready.
You're locked onto the Sport MVT Insider, a podcast for unrelenting coverage of women in sport.